Good morning, everybody. Wake up. Wake up, wake up. In Provincetown. This week featuring Wake Up, Wake Up. Can I have some coffee? Wake up, wake up. Make it strong, please. Hey. Ho. Hey. Wake up, wake up. Ho. No, really, can I have some coffee? Wake up, wake up. Wake up, wake up. Wake up, wake up.
Yeah.
What's Lexa?
Good
morning, everybody.
everyone.
It's Friday, January 5th. Happy New Year!
We did it.
It's 2024. It's almost
so
time to go back to
exciting.
work at the Red Inn.
Just kidding. It's not almost time. We have 4 more months.
They're going to go by like that.
I know.
If
Yeah.
November and December are any indication.
Mm-hmm.
You guys, thank you for tuning in with us this morning. We missed you.
I know.
We have a great show for you today. Harry, tell everybody who's on the show.
And we have Dennis Minsky and Emily Meads coming in.
Lori Meads.
All of them.
All of them.
Oh,
Meadses.
really?
Yeah.
Oh, great.
And-
We also have Sydney Cropper and Ashley Dotchin coming in. Talk
Uh-huh.
about estate planning. And you hung out with the Painted Lady
I
people.
hung out with Heather and Ken over at the Painted Lady. It's their second pop-up this winter at Local 186. The food is so good, and I just love them so much. It's my favorite place to go in the winter.
Yeah. I mean, that place is so cozy.
Very, very cozy.
I didn't get to go last year, so I'm excited to go
You
this
didn't
year.
go at all? Oh, you were in
No,
Boston
I was in
last month.
Boston most of the months that they were open. So
It's so good.
yeah. How was your New Year's?
Pretty low key actually. I just popped around a couple of house parties, home by one.
Oh, that's
I know.
yeah.
Like, we were leaving the second party, and I was like, "It's only one. Everything's open till 2. Let's go to the A house for an hour." And Peter was like, "Aren't you? Didn't we have enough fun?"
I was like, I went to a friend's house party, and I'm just like not a person who's out at midnight as of late, as of the past year. I think it's the pandemic really did it to me, but I was literally like, as we were counting down, I was like backing up towards the door. I was like 10, 9. I think I was in bed at 12:10.
Really?
Yeah, but I had a really fun night. Yeah.
That was a fun party.
Yeah, I went to my friend Leon's for a little house party. It was really wild and packed. And then probably at like 11:15, 11:30, people started like trickling away to go where they wanted to be at midnight, like A House or the Crown. And I think there was like 15 of us left who celebrated there.
Well, there's that whole New Year's thing where the 2 parties that I was at were both in the West End, and when I was at one, people were like, "Do you think the other one's popping? Should we go down there?" And then I was at the other one, and they're like, "Should we leave this one for that one?" And everyone thinks that something better is happening somewhere, and I'm like, "You guys, just be where you are.
Yeah.
Be present.
I-
The ball will drop no matter
It
where
seems
you
like
are."
everyone always wants to be where all the other people are, and I just can't relate. I'm like, where are the other people not? That is where I want to be.
Like, let's go home where there's no one.
Yeah.
Is that your resolution for 2020?
No, I told you my resolution was to do the opposite.
You're already doing great.
Fantastic.
Being so social.
Yeah.
I mean, trivia was packed last night.
Trivia was packed. You did fine.
I was playing alone.
You were playing with Peter.
I answered all the questions by myself.
Oh, come on.
No, I'm just kidding. Yeah, but Priscilla was playing alone too, and we were like, her team was all by myself. That was the name of
She
her
made
team.
me sing into the microphone. But I was actually really excited. We've had really good turnout for trivia for the past few months, and I was like not worried, but I was like, it'll probably be a small turnout tonight. But unfortunately, not
Unfortunately, people were here.
Sorry, no, but gladly it was a packed house last night. Yeah, but the fun part was so at the end of the year, the brewery is able to like look at all their reports through Square. They kind of give you like a Spotify Wrapped of the year about how much money was spent. And the number one guest of the brewery was there last night, and we celebrated him.
I feel like every restaurant should do that.
Yeah.
Like, who do you think is the number one customer at the Red Inn?
Karen.
Karen Nash.
Yeah,
for
Karen.
sure, right?
she's such a good guest. She's an employee. No, she'll show up early and Bob will be like, here's limes, get to cutting.
She does. She cuts. Yeah. Wait, I don't know if that's legal. So maybe she doesn't.
It most certainly is not legal. She better not cut herself because she'll own the red in. Yeah, the day before, on Saturday, I went to a little get together at a friend's house, and then I went to Liz's for dinner, which is fantastic and packed. I think all the places in town were packed.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. These off-season weekends, people often come to town. Like I work at the brewery during the day on Fridays, and it was a little busier than usual, obviously. And there are people who be like, "Is it just you here?" I'm like, "Yeah." And they're like, "Why don't you have more people?" I'm like, "They don't like. It's the winter. We just don't have more people." And it's like you can't really staff for the 4 or 5 weekends over the winter that get crazy busy.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
We just don't have additional staff to throw on.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But I was doing a great job and it was fun.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
I'm glad to hear you were doing a great job.
And I made it to Peter Toto's piano bar night at the Gifford House.
How was Peter?
It was so fun. I stayed for about an hour before I had to head out, but it was packed, and I heard it got even more packed. And I don't know if it was a trial run, but I think he discussed having a regular night over the summer next year.
Oh, you went to Peter Toto's show instead of the one that I was in.
Yes.
Thanks for the support.
Yeah. You're welcome.
Our show went great.
That's good. How did the show go?
Great. I just said. It went really, really great.
Elaborate.
It was a New Year's Eve show hosted by Delta Miles as Judy Garland.
I love that.
Mark came and pretended to miss my number. I came off stage and Mark was like, "I was in the bathroom. What happened?" And I was like,
What did you do? I know as of Friday morning you didn't know.
I did Have Yourself a Happy Little New Year because we weren't allowed to do Christmas songs. So I sang a New Year's song with a Christmas melody. It was a bit.
What were the? It was a bit.
A bit much.
Oh! How did it go?
Oh, so you weren't in the bathroom.
He wasn't until he realized he should be.
Wow, tough crowd. Now I don't want to be around people. No, it was super fun.
Good.
Great. Yeah,
I figured it would have been in the Paramount, but it looked really cozy and cute in the.
Well, because it was like food and champagne.
Oh, right.
So it was on the patio there in the dive bar, the piano bar.
Looking cute.
Yeah, good times.
Yeah.
And also that same night was Green Fairy, starring Brittany and Joe, which my friend Jack said was one of the best things he's seen in Provincetown in 35 years.
That is wild.
I know.
Yeah, congratulations
Are they going to do
Brittany,
that show
Joe, and
all
Andrew.
next summer?
I think so.
They ought to.
Yeah.
Raves, like only raves.
I love that.
I
Yeah.
know. If you're watching, Brittany and Joel, I know
Joel's
they have
watching.
1,000 other things going on.
Yeah.
But
sing for us more.
Yeah.
Did you see the fireworks?
Mhm.
The fireworks were great. It's the first time I watched from the pier.
Mhm.
It was an interesting crowd.
You could actually see them this year. Do you remember last year?
Yeah.
It was so foggy that it looked like the beaches of Normandy. I was like, someone's bombing Truro. Someone is bombing Truro. All you saw was like
Colorfully.
poof. Like you could hear it and you could see flashes of light. And I was like, oh my God, Saving Private Ryan. I was having like a war flashback, and I've never even been to war. But it was beautiful this year.
Last year I watched from Sam and Carmen's apartment just over here, and it was. I thought it was beautiful, even though it was foggy.
Yeah.
It was just like a new firework experience.
It was even more beautiful this year because it was perfectly clear. And when, because they're doing it over the water, you kind of see it reflected there.
Where'd you watch from?
I watched from the deck at the Harbor Lounge, which was, it was really, I thought it was going to collapse. I was like, is there a capacity limit for this thing?
They're like, no rules, it's P-Town.
No, but like, you're standing out there like this, like ass to elbow against a bunch of strangers, and then people are still trying to come out, and I was like, full, it's full. No, not you, you're too late. People kept trying to come out there. It was crazy. And then this woman was like, woo! Woo! And everybody else was just standing there. She's like, you guys are boring. What's wrong with this crowd? And Kevin is standing next to me with smoke coming out of his ears. And he's like, everyone can hear you. We're not bored. Just let us enjoy it, okay? And I was like, this is the New Year's I wanted and hoped and planned for.
That's so funny because I was on the pier and there was a guy next to me saying the exact same thing. And then I had to think, is it typical to cheer during fireworks?
Only at the really, really good ones.
Oh.
Yeah, otherwise.
I figure at the end.
During the finale.
Yeah, it's like a performance.
Yeah, so when it starts really popping off, everyone started clapping. She's like, oh, you guys are only clapping because it's over. And I was like, bitch, we're clapping because this is the good part. That's why people are clapping. It was fun.
It was really cute. I was with Todd, and there was this woman with her very small baby attached to her chest. and the baby, every time the fireworks went, it would go, ooh.
Really?
Ooh. And it was wearing headphones, so it wasn't too loud. It was really cute.
Remember that town meeting where we voted 800 against 2 to have silent fireworks?
I don't think silent fireworks are a real thing.
Yeah, I was one of 2 people to be like, no, that's not real, and it sounds like it
It's
sucks.
not real.
We still have really loud fireworks.
But they would fire off all of those explosions. That just boom.
Oh.
You notice that wasn't.
Oh, there's an added boom?
Yeah, there's at the end they go boom, 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 boom. They're like percussive. It was quieter.
It was quieter.
It's quieter.
Oh,
There's
interesting.
no such thing as a quiet.
Oh.
Someone,
But you remember that. And I was like, you guys, this is dumb.
someone brought their dogs to the pier to watch the fireworks, and then the dogs freaked out and they had to leave. I was like, you did not see that coming?
Wow.
Someone's
Yeah.
asking at the end of the fireworks, isn't it customary to honk your cars for?
If you're in your car,
Yeah.
If you drove up from Truro to sit in the parking lot, yeah.
And yeah, if you also, it's apparently that night it's customary to do donuts at the end of the pier.
Oh, you said that. You saw that.
I
Interesting.
heard it.
Mm.
I was like sitting on that little park bench, being like, "This is so romantic and beautiful, and it's a new year." And then, and Peter was like, "It's okay, it's teenagers." I was like, "You don't know that."
There's no teenagers in P-Town. When you say teenagers, you mean 35-year-olds.
It was you.
It was me.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
Thank you.
The New Year's Day, I came to the brewery for the Hair of the Dog disco. It's honestly one of my favorite parties of the year. Everyone's kind of
Hungover.
turned up, but toned down at the same time.
Yeah.
Everyone's like trying to have a good time. Sam did an amazing job. The
You
tunes were
did.
incredible. Yeah, it was so much fun.
I came too because Anna Milliken's back in town.
Yeah, I just walked in and she was like, "Hey," I was
It's
like,
her birthday.
"Oh, hello."
Should we call her?
Ooh, it is her birthday.
Oh, before we call people for their birthday, you guys, we have to give you your winter weather report. It is 26 degrees outside, bright and sunny. Low tide is at 11:59 if you're in town and planning on going clamming, but it's going to be cold.
Yeah, are you gonna go climb?
I am going clamming until I can no longer stand it. Like, you know that moment where you feel like your fingers are going to fall off? I'm going to clam until then. I'm going to hoof it back.
How many clams do you need?
I need a full basket.
Mm.
I promised some people some chowder this week.
Oh, that's so sweet.
Because I was bragging. I posted a thing on my Instagram story being like, I make the best chowder out of everyone in the world. And people were like, prove it.
Yeah, get a bucket and a half. I'll have some.
You can't get a bucket and a half. You can only get a bucket.
Per person?
Yeah.
Take
Right?
someone else and get me
For
some.
license.
Per license.
Not per New England clam chowder recipe.
Correct. Well, Tommy never uses all of his anyway, so you could probably have some of
Oh,
Tommy's.
perfect. I'm not making chowder. You're making me chowder.
What are you making? Are
I'm
you
not
going?
making-
You're not going today?
I'm going here.
What are you going to make?
A freezer full of clams that then I could pull out and say, I'm going to have clam pizza tonight. Or
Oh,
I'm
that's
gonna have
that's a great
That
idea.
is a really good idea.
There was some news in town this week.
In town?
Yeah.
Like what?
I did get news from the town manager's office that we got a new voting machine.
Really?
Yes, and I know people in Provincetown don't like change, and
I like that thing.
the thing has been replaced.
No,
Yeah, it's gonna be there so you can get your Instagram pictures.
no, it actually, we will be doing the doobity-doobity thing.
No.
We're still, then
It's
why?
two separate- it's
What's the
two
new machine for?
Basically, there's a new machine that is state-of-the-art, modern vote tabulator. So this is in an effort to increase election security and accelerate vote counting and election reporting. The first use of this machine is going to be on March 5th for the presidential primary elections, which I don't know if there are. Is that a big thing now? I don't.
Primaries?
Well, I don't think I don't think Joe Biden is getting primaried, right?
Yeah, but I think the 7 Republicans in town will want to vote in the primary.
That's true. That's true. But this is a state where you have to be registered for that party in order to vote.
Mhm.
So I'm going to find out who all the registered Republicans are in town.
You can count them
Go
on
to
one hand.
PPRT meetings.
Stop.
It just got really cold.
I know we're going to get canceled. So it's basically a ballot scanning device, kind of like I imagine very similar to like the standardized testing you took in like middle school, where you have to like fill in an oval and then it scans into a machine and then it counts your votes there. Obviously, the ballots will be kept afterwards in case of any recounts.
Hanging chads.
Hanging chads, all of those things. There is obviously there's going to be a lot of education about how to do this, but I did reading through it. One of the things that I think is very important is if you make a mistake, you have to get a whole new ballot. which is good. They just like there's no erasing because it'll mess with the machine.
Mhm.
But they did say they're gonna keep the old manual ballot box for
Nostalgic purposes.
I think it's for nostalgia, Instagram pics, Facebook pics.
It's now like the big blue chair. You just pose on it.
Mhm.
It doesn't really do anything.
We're
I
done.
loved that thing because there was always
yeah.
some little old lady sitting there going, "Feed your paper into the crank."
And Bob
Sure,
wanted that
so
to be his job.
And I was looking forward to that.
That was going to be his
That's
retirement
my next,
plan.
No, my next job, not even my retirement job. My very next job. Speaking of jobs,
Mhm.
I don't know if I'm allowed. Actually, I'm going to text somebody, and while we're watching the next video, find out an answer if I can talk about this job opening at a place that we all love.
Well, now you have to
It's
talk
a
about
very
it.
important position at a very important place.
Okay. Very cryptic.
I know, vague,
Yeah.
cryptic. Ooh.
Last weekend was also on as part of like the biggest celebration of First Light, the Polar Bear Plunge.
I know.
Did you go to see the plungers?
No,
I didn't
did
either. I was
you?
too hungover. I couldn't get out of bed. But 230 people did brave the cold.
That's a lot. How much did they raise for the Center for Coastal
They
Studies?
raised over $24,000 for the
That's
Center for Coastal
great.
Studies. Yeah, the highest individual fundraiser was Rochelle Richardson, who raised $1,165, and the biggest team was Team Admiral's Landing.
Really?
Yeah, congratulations.
Awesome.
They raised $1,135. I love that Rochelle raised individually more than the biggest team, so she's really killing it.
She's a fundraiser.
Yeah. It was 35 degrees out that day, so it was extra.
The water
cold.
was like 47. The water was warmer than the air for the pool, which is, I think, typical.
Yeah,
Right?
yeah.
But
Last
still.
year, I think it was in the mid 50s for the polar bear plunge, and I heard there was a lot of talk of, wow, I wish it could be that warm today.
I'm sure.
Mhm.
Now, the only time I've ever participated in a cold winter plunge, I was sick for 2 weeks, so I don't do that anymore.
But
I think you have to like work up to it.
Mm.
Like you have to be like practicing by taking cold showers, and I didn't know that.
There is a crew in town that I think is making an effort to plunge every day through the winter.
I think I've seen a couple of these
Mm.
Instagram reels.
I guess it's good for your nervous system.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's basically when you're in a situation like that, it's fight or flight, and the idea is that the longer you stay in and kind of manage your flight or fight responses,
Mhm.
and then when you're in situations where your flight or fight response like kind of wants to take over, you're more in control of your response.
So you're going to start doing it?
No.
Didn't think so.
I mean, maybe there was a woman who really talked my ear off about it in a really fun way, giving me tons of information. I was like, she kind of sold me on it last year. One of our regulars from the Red Inn.
Really?
Yeah,
Oh.
I can't remember her name.
Oh.
She drinks.
She's dead out of frostbite.
She drinks Cosmos. No.
Wow.
Yeah. But that was their 7th annual, and this was the first year they teamed up with the Provincetown Business Guild, and Trevor and Carmen over at the Provincetown Business Guild helped them kind of be more, I don't want to say organized because they've always been more organized, but like more opportunity. There was more of like, there was online registration, things like that. It just made it like a little more seamless, which helped them raise a lot more money, which is great.
Speaking of the Center for Coastal Studies, on New Year's Eve, the night before all those
what is
shows,
that? January?
last Friday.
I mean,
No, last Friday, a week ago, last Friday night, they were doing an open mic night at the Underground. Do you know that they do this? So there was a brand new band that performed for the first time together ever there, but also our friend Troy, who works at the Center for Coastal Studies. Would you consider Troy to be like more of an outgoing performative type or like a shy, quiet type?
I would say reserved, not shy. but
Reserved.
Yeah.
He rapped to Eminem at the open mic night.
Word.
I know.
What song?
Stan. I was Dido. and he was Eminem. And it was
Cute.
like, I was really, like he came off the stage and was like, he was like a new person. I was like, a star is born.
I love that.
You guys look out for Troy rapping this winter.
Troy
There's going to be more of it.
Troy's from Griswold, Connecticut, which is a town right by where I grew up and where my sister went to high school. And I have no doubt that Griswold raises a mean white rapper.
Seriously, when he got his Spotify rap, I was like, all 5 of yours are rappers. And I was like, would you have guessed that about Troy?
No. Let's see.
Rapping.
Oh, other big news in Provincetown real estate,
What?
and it's been a buzz on the community space.
What?
The Provincetown Inn sold.
I heard.
Yeah, so for $24 million, Lynn Christ purchased the 6-acre waterfront property. It has 102 hotel rooms. I didn't realize it was that
It's
big.
massive, yeah.
Huge. 2 restaurants, a swimming pool, 6 function rooms, 125 parking spaces, and 102 hotel rooms. A week later, Lynn Christ purchased the Foxbury Inn, which is a 12-room inn. But they did say that they're planning to use that for employee housing.
Wow.
I'm like, can I work for you? I want to live there.
I want to live at the Foxbury too.
Yeah.
Or people in the bunk rooms.
Oh, is that what it's going to be?
JK.
Sure.
JK,
Oh.
I want a suite. They now own the Surfside Inn, the Harbor Hotel, the Brass Key, and Crown Point, and the P-Town Inn, and the Foxbury.
Yeah.
So that means that Linkers owns 31% of the hotel rooms in Provincetown.
31%.
Yeah, that's wild. I know a lot of people have opinions about corporations and things like that, but they run their property so well. The real estate agent who listed this said that they had over 50 interested buyers, and that those included timeshare operators, residential redevelopment.
Ooh.
So like a lot of things that a lot of people would not like to see. Like we don't want to see the P-Town Inn turned into 6 condos.
Or
No.
a private home.
Or a
Right.
private home,
Somebody
exactly.
asked about that.
Oh my God, like
That
the
is
William Randolph
insane.
Hearst mansion, like just this one giant place.
As long as they're single and interested in me.
Oh boy.
So not a chance.
I heard they're changing the shape of the pool from a pilgrim hat to a top hat. You know that pool is shaped like a pilgrim hat, right?
Yeah. It's so weird because when you're there at the pool, it just looks like a rectangle.
Right.
But when you look from above, it's a pilgrim hat.
Yeah, it's a pilgrim hat.
Yeah, that's wild. I think they will continue to operate the pool as a public pool
They
because
have
it is
to.
in the
Deed restricted.
licensing of it. But I imagine that wouldn't change through a sale, right?
No,
Right.
because it's in the title zone. It's on like.
Right.
or-
Oh, okay. So it has to be operated as a public pool.
You will still be able to wear your thong to that pool.
I've never worn a thong to that pool.
That pool.
I wear a thong to the 21 plus pools in town.
The Nebraska, the other Lindquist pools.
Yeah, exactly. Crown and anchor, boat slip,
Uh-huh.
But like I said, it was a buzz in the community space, and people. Lindquist also owns the Harbor Hotel, which a lot of people were upset when the mural of that, like the bee sewing a whale, got painted over. In the article that I read in the Independent about the purchase of the Provincetown Inn, they did say that they were. One of the reasons they painted over is because they are putting windows in on that wall because that's their reception space. So they just wanted to make it more welcoming, which I think is great.
Right.
Not great that obviously that the mural was painted over, but yeah.
Well, there's a lot of murals at the Provincetown Inn as well.
Yes, and a lot of people are very concerned about whether they're going to be painted over or not. And the Linkers have said they have no plans to paint over the murals. A lot of people are like, oh, they should be removed and put somewhere.
Where?
Listening to people in community space, they think it's just bizarre the way they think. Like, oh, we'll just take it from this place and put it in a museum. I'm like, that's not
Is
going
that
to
how
work.
walls work?
I don't think so. Well, sometimes murals are painted on like panels that get installed.
Right.
But I'm super excited. I think this company, having seen the work they've done with their other places, they're going to upgrade it.
Yeah.
And like I said, there's 2 restaurant spaces, 6 function rooms. Like there's so much space to be enlivened.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's like theater spaces.
Yeah. I think
Mona Moore did a show there that one year. Remember that one?
Sean Treadwell says it's the best show that's ever happened in P-Town.
Mona Moore's show that
Yeah,
was there. It
yeah.
was like on a par with Green Fairy, one of the best shows of the last 35 years. I'm not even kidding.
Yeah, Sean, Mona was a drag queen on an island. What was the concept of the show?
It was all a dream.
But it was like a dance troupe, but like hosted by Mona.
Etc.
Salsetra. Look at you.
Yeah, look, I was there.
But I'm super excited to see the direction the Provincetown Inn goes.
Me too.
I hope I don't upset anybody by saying this, but I hope the first thing they change is the music they play at the pool.
You definitely offended a lot of people. Dano, if you're watching this, please, in the comments, read this bitch.
It's not that I don't like the music itself. I just think it was not the music for a daytime pool hang.
Yeah.
It was like nightclub music.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It used to be steel drum.
Really?
It was amazing.
That I could get into. That's more of like a
Like
daytime.
a live steel drum player.
Really?
Oh,
A
that
live
would be
steel. Ooh,
so
live
cool.
music at the pool. That would be cool.
That would be really cool. And they better keep the chicken fingers. That's like 40% of my calorie intake in the summer is chicken fingers at the Provincetown Inn pool. And I take one of each.
Ooh,
Every
you
dipping
do?
sauce. I'm like, you're not surveying this. You're not keeping an eye on me. So I'm like,
Before we go on, you guys, the Provincetown community lost 2 very important community members right before the new year. Anne McGuire, who spent 30 years working with helping our women, passed away, as well as Dermot Meager, who was the first openly gay judge appointed in Massachusetts.
Oh, wow. And I know that they both did so much work for queer rights, and sad to see that.
So rest in peace. Thank you for everything that you did for our community and for, the world at large, really.
I have a couple news stories. There's a rumor that, so there was an article about, I don't know if you've heard, but Sunset Boulevard is in the West End, and it's a very unique adaptation of it. It stars Nicole Scherzinger, formerly of the Pussycat Dolls.
In Sunset Boulevard?
Nicole Scherzinger is one of the most talented performers of our time.
The role is like a has-been, though. It's like a 70-year-old woman.
Oh.
Sunset Boulevard.
I guess that's true.
Yeah.
But she's incredible. And so there was an article about the show moving to Broadway, and there's obviously talks about who she'll be competing against for Best Actress in the Tonys that year. And there's a one little line that I got so excited about because it said there is a rumor that she will end up going up against Audra McDonald in yet another revival of Gypsy.
Audra McDonald and Gypsy?
Yeah.
You can't beat Audra McDonald and Gypsy.
Right. No, I know. And because it was just that one line in this article, there's obviously no other details about this production, but there's obviously so much speculation. And someone was like, Keke Palmer should play the other role, which I'm like shut all the other productions down. That's the only one we need. But that's really exciting.
Nicole is going to transfer to Broadway with this? Fun. Yeah. I would go see that. But literally, I think the character is like 70 years old.
I know the music, but I don't know like the show that well.
Oh, yeah.
It's most notably Glenn Close.
Glenn Close won a Tony for it. And Glenn Close was in a revival of it 20 years later when she was actually age appropriate for it. And I saw that one in like 2016 or
What's
something.
age appropriate in stage acting? I was in the Fantastics this summer and my first line was, I'm nearly 20 years old. I expected laughs from the audience at least once, and I never got it. I was like, oh, that's so sweet of y'all to suggest that I could potentially play a 19-year-old.
It's the hair.
I had long hair then.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah. Also, tonight is the premiere of season 16 of RuPaul's Drag Race.
Guess who's on it?
Which I know our audience is never as excited as I am about it, but I will continue talking about it. But there's a really great reason to talk about it this year. There's a P-Town favorite.
There is. Safira Cristal of Kaya Cristal's drag family is a contestant. I think she's probably billed as a Boston queen, but she's a Provincetown.
I think a Philly queen.
Philly? She lives in Philly now?
Yeah.
She used to live here. She used to slay at Showgirls, like unbeatable performances at Showgirls. So I will be pulling for Safira Cristal. Of course, my friend Rocco, who owns our house in Wynwood, Miami, one of his house queens is on it too.
That's exciting.
So Rocco's like, don't forget to root for my queen Morphine. And I was like, I have to root for Safira. You can root for Morphine,
We can have two
Rocco.
favorites. There's always a top
Those
three
are
or
my
four.
two. Those are the two that I'm pulling for.
Yeah.
Oh, but also, I think we can say this. Nobody call Anna Navarro, but on The View today, like an hour from now, it's Anna Navarro's birthday, and she loves Our House. So the Our House queens are surprising Anna Navarro on The View today.
That's so cute.
With a drag performance live. So watch The View today.
But Anna doesn't know yet, but you do?
Yeah.
How do you?
Because Rocco told me.
Oh, that's so cute.
He's like, don't tell Anna Navarro. I was like, I don't know Anna Navarro.
What if she's watching, Bob?
I'm sure she's probably getting ready for work.
Right.
Happy birthday, Anna Navarro.
Yeah.
So watch The View right after this, you guys.
Yeah, and also tonight, if you like to do a viewing party, the Crown and Anchor is hosting a viewing party, Mackenzie and Austin.
8 o'clock?
8 o'clock. It's in the Paramount now that they have that big screen,
Wow.
which is
That'd be
enticing.
fun. Yeah.
I feel like you have to be a certain level of fan to like a viewing party. Like, you have to be enough of a fan to like the show, but if you're too much of a fan, I'm like, shut up, everyone, the show's on.
Right.
And
People will be talking.
People go to be social, and
Right.
you know I don't like that. But
so you're not going. You should go.
I-
That's your New Year's resolution, to be more social. Go to a thing that you want to
don't
see.
make me. Tonight I'm watching at a friend's house, but we'll see in the future. I do want to go see Mackenzie and Austin do it in the Paramount. That sounds like so much fun.
Me
though.
too.
Yeah. And it is a split premiere, but Safira Cristal's on the show tonight.
How do you already know that?
Because they did previews.
Oh,
Yeah.
fun.
So it's
Oh,
only
I
like
can't
half the
wait.
girls.
Good luck, Safira.
Yeah.
Good luck, Morphine. Mark's giving us the move
Okay.
along.
That is all I have.
That's all the news that's fit to say.
Yeah.
You guys, I got to hang out with Heather and Ken yesterday at the Painted Lady, which opened last weekend. So they're fully into their second weekend of work. It's so good, and they're so sweet, and it's so beautiful and cozy. And they're going there and there's a drink called the Painted Lady.
No way.
Yeah, we had one yesterday. Check this out. Enjoy. Good morning, everybody. I'm at the Painted Lady at Local 186. This is their second winter pop-up here. And before we let you slip away to make us a drink, Heather, can you tell everybody a little bit about your history in Provincetown?
Well, my dad was born here, my grandfather, so I've always been connected. We moved away, but I would always come back. And then when I was 18, I started living here permanently. And I started waitressing at the Governor Bradford and bartending there and bartending at Vixen, and eventually started working at Spiritus when I was 21 and moved to Bubla's shortly after and came here, and that's about it.
Like a deep love and connection for the town.
Love and connection. I mean, my roots are here, and I will always call this home.
And now you've got some kids with Todd.
We've got some kids, and we're here.
Excellent. Ken, what about you?
I have been coming to Provincetown. I was 7. My parents brought me here for the first time, and I've been coming here every year since I was 21. So just a couple of years. And I moved here from New York City full time. It's going to be 4 years, and I volunteered for 5 years and started working with my friends Heather and Todd a few years ago at Local, and then we had last year for our first pop-up here. So yeah, it's been great, and I'm bebop around town. I have a few gigs, and I'm all over the place, but this will also always be home because of the environment that Heather and Todd have created. So it's like
Very family here.
It is. We consider ourselves a big family here, so.
I think Heather's going to make us the Painted Lady in a second.
Yeah.
So this has been Local 186, the burger joint, for about 15 years.
For a while, yeah.
And there were a couple of winters, I think, before Painted Lady, when it was like Sal's or something.
Sal's, there was
winter.
Blackfish,
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And so like this, I love this winter pop-up thing. I feel like you guys started this here. This building. Like this is where it kind of,
it's
you
true.
know, right?
Yeah, it's
people come to expect it. They are always asking about it, and now they see us around town even during the summertime and in the fall. They're just like, when's Painted Lady gonna open up? When's the pop up gonna happen? So there's always that buzz around it, and you know, am I still gonna be able to get my favorite soup or my favorite miso butter onions?
Right.
yeah. And we decided to have a pop-up just so we can have our own restaurant that wasn't local, so we can make our own food and serve good food at a good price to all the locals. And
Well, there's always been a lot of excitement about like the food aspect in particular about it. Like you said, the miso butter onions. I remember the first time I came here to have them. I didn't even ask for them. Mona Moore was like, "You guys are gonna try this," and then that's just something that I get every time I come in here.
people are like, I don't know, but you're like, you gotta try it.
What are some of the other biggest hits on here?
Well, we have a few new items this year.
Ooh.
So Ken
Well,
would know better than me.
So you said miso butter onions, and
Yeah.
because of that popularity, so there's the miso burger this year. So it's the miso butter onions on top with fontina cheese and our brioche bun that we have at Local. Amazing, everybody's loving it so far. Also, just the steak frites. We had that last year. It's a solid dish. It's 13 ounces. Painted Hills ribeye. It's delicious.
You had me at ribeye.
I will say that one of the biggest things about Local and the whole family, Local and Painted Lady, is just the family aspect of the family meal where everybody's sharing, everybody's ordering stuff, and everybody's eating off of each other's plate. It's so a lot of the small dishes lend themselves to that.
Right.
Kind of the crispy Parmesan Brussels, those are always a hit. The Scotch eggs are kind of the new hit, so that's new this year. If you've never had a Scotch egg, you have to come in and have one. It's delicious.
That's why we have like so many small dishes, because we just want to have small things that people order a lot of and people could share.
Thank you. And so, what exactly is a Painted Lady?
So Painted Lady, so the architecture of the building is a Painted Lady. So kind of hence the name, and also the Painted Lady also was Painted Lady Inn was here as well in the past. So it kind of was the building was kind of screaming towards that, just like it was asking for just to have its own, like, also a little bit more feminine, a little bit more taken back to a time where it was a little bit more formal. So it's kind of a definite shift from Local.
You know, one of the things I love most about this like winter pop-up concept is that it does feel like a different place than Lowell. Like, it's very vibes is nice and cozy, and like I just love walking in here this time of year. Like you just feel this sense of warmth and family, and you know you're about to have something really, really fantastic.
And we changed the decor as well. So we took the tables and we covered them with wallpaper in a floral finish. There's we put up curtains just to kind of soften it a little bit, and then we added fresh flowers to the table. We covered all of some of the cow print is covered with some different fabric just to give it a different feel. So so we spent some time over the winter just making some little changes.
Yeah, and Ken is my chief aesthetic.
Well, I totally like. Heather and I
So
can
many
like
ideas.
we'll send each other photos, we'll send each other ideas. I was in Italy for my honeymoon, and there was these heads that had plants coming out of them. Like Heather needs these for the painted lady.
So it's,
And what's
it's-
the schedule going to be?
It's more. We're gonna be Friday through Tuesday,
Friday through Tuesday.
5 until close, whatever that means, depending on the day. It could be 10, it could be 8:30. So. Yeah.
But that also includes some programming. You guys still have Billy and Sue downstairs doing Scream Along on Friday night.
On Friday, starting at 9. We're gonna have Mona Moore trivia on Tuesdays, probably starting around 7.
Yeah.
And,
There'll be some food down there as well.
go to the grotto bar, you get the nacho tots.
That's so good.
And if you've never been to a Mona Moore trivia game, it's a show. It is not merely questions and answers.
Buckle up.
Cheers, you guys.
This
Cheers.
is the Painted Lady, gin, Aperol, and lemon.
Nice.
My favorite.
Thank you. Oh, and we're definitely shooting this at like 5 p.m., so don't judge us or anything like that. It's time for a cocktail. But you guys, I just love that you're doing this. Thank you so much for being here, because as the town, we know, dwindles from like 100 restaurants to like 7. It's nice to have an extra one that's, you know, something to look forward to all week.
Yeah, it's nice, and like people are so excited about it. Like it makes us feel really great.
I had guests from Eastham and Wellfleet the other night. They're coming up here. It's a destination.
Yeah,
Come say hi to these guys and have a painted lady at the Painted Lady with
Cheers.
these painted ladies.
Cheers.
Have a great winter.
Cheers, thank you.
So Billy and Sue will be there tonight at the Grotto Bar doing Scream Along with Billy. So go to the Painted Lady, have dinner, scoot on down, say hi to Billy and Sue.
Oh, that's so fun.
I know.
Yeah. Please welcome Sydney and Ashley from Dotchin Law Firm.
Welcome, ladies. So this is something that I think is really important, especially in Provincetown, where the community skews a little, shall we say, more mature.
We shall.
People are older. And so when should people start planning their estates?
So typically people will start, there's a couple different points, but usually it's a big life event that will trigger it. Either they bought a house or they bought a property somewhere. Sometimes they bought it with a partner or a spouse. Sometimes they are buying it separately. They just want to make sure they're protected. Other times it's when they start to have kids or they're starting to think about retirement and somebody pokes them and says, hey, you haven't done this yet. You really should start thinking about it now. And that's typically when they'll call and they'll come in.
And I think you had mentioned that one of the assumptions of of like how things will, if something were to happen, how things get passed along, and a lot of those assumptions aren't quite right. So that's why it's so important to estate plan and have a firm plan in place, correct?
Exactly. There's a lot of myths out there about estate planning. A lot of people assume that if something happens and they have a spouse or they have a partner, that it's going to be that person that steps in to fill the role of deciding, you know, if God forbid they're in the hospital, who's going to make those medical decisions, or if they pass away, who's going to go through and distribute out those assets. And a lot of times, especially in communities where you may have a partner but you're not necessarily married, that assumption is sometimes way off base, because then it's family members who have the legal right to step in beforehand, and so things can get long and drawn out. It can end up costing a lot more money than it would have, and there can be a lot more of a headache than if you just put a plan in place ahead of time, and then they're going to follow your wishes. And if you want your partner to step in and make sure that everything's taken care of, then they can do that.
I mean, I've heard horror stories, especially in the gay community. I want to say in years past, but I don't even know if that's actually true, but where you're with a partner forever, something horrific happens, and then all of a sudden their estranged family comes in and just like takes things that are yours.
Exactly, yeah, because depending on the situation, and especially if the family's estranged, the relationships aren't there. So they don't necessarily know, okay, this is yours, it wasn't theirs. They're just coming in on the assumption that everything belongs to that family member. And, I think that especially in those situations, it's hard because there's not necessarily that legal basis to jump in and say, this is my stuff. We were together for, 20 years. Because the court really doesn't care if there's nothing in place, unfortunately. And that's where a lot of people, aren't necessarily thinking that far ahead. And until it happens to somebody that they know or to them, it's kind of something that's easy to tuck on the back burner and just not think about.
I mean, I started the process of writing my will, and I just don't like anybody enough to leave them anything.
How much do I get?
No, I'm totally kidding. But obviously I was like, oh, if anything happens to me, just my husband gets everything. And then of course the lawyer was like, well, what if something happens to him? And I was like, I don't want to think about that.
Yeah, we call that the Disneyland clause to make it a little bit more fun.
What do you
Y'all
mean?
go on a vacation to Disney and you just don't make it back.
Oh.
What happened?
Well, obviously you're with your partner in a lot of things, driving cars, planes.
So if something were to happen to both of us at the same time.
Yeah, then where does it go? And, sometimes people will just say, whatever Massachusetts wants, because it's easier and it's unlikely to happen. But for a lot of people, they'll, fill in siblings, they'll fill in nieces and nephews that they might want to take care of. They'll fill in, a charity if there's an organization that's really close to them that they care about. The hope is that it never makes it that far, but just in case, then it's going somewhere.
Wow. So Sydney, y'all are doing a kind of a group meeting at the Commons.
Yeah, so we have our meeting from 1 to 3 at the Commons on the 10th.
And we'll have wine.
Yes.
Wine and estate planning.
This
I love
upcoming
that.
Wednesday from 1 to 3?
Yes.
Yes.
Excellent. What kind of wine?
A couple different ones. Cabernet.
I'm totally going to be at this. No, because the older we get, the more we do have to think about these things. And even if you're not married, and even if you don't think that you have a lot, everybody has something.
Well, and it adds up really quickly.
Yeah.
It adds up a lot faster than people realize, because we hear all the time, I don't have enough to plan for. But you have retirement accounts that you're not thinking about. A lot of people have investment accounts that they don't see, so they don't think about them. They tend to think of really just what's in the bank account. But, there's a lot more that adds up. And then if you own a house or a condo or any investment properties, all of a sudden you get bumped up, a lot closer to that estate tax limit that we have in Massachusetts that a lot of other states don't have. So
what is that?
So it's actually, it just went up. So in Massachusetts, it went up to $2 million. If you have less than $2 million in assets,
you're fine.
Then you don't have to worry about paying any estate tax. But if all of the assets that you have, if all those retirement accounts, investment accounts, bank accounts, property add up to $2 million and you go over that number, then all of a sudden Massachusetts, when you pass away, if you're not married, they'll issue that estate tax. If you are married, you get to take what's called an unlimited spousal deduction, where no estate tax is paid till after you both pass away, but they'll eventually come and figure out how much you owe them, depending on how far over that $2 million you are.
Oh my goodness.
Scary.
It's kind of a sliding scale.
Yeah, and especially with the way real estate's going in P-Town, Bob, you're probably getting close.
Thank you very much. You guys, if you're in town, come to the Commons this Wednesday at 1 o'clock. Say hi to Ashley and Sydney and learn about estate planning, because we do need to be thinking about this. Everybody needs to
I think kind of the vibe is, even if you don't think you're ready, you probably are.
Yeah, and I think, for us on Wednesday, obviously we'll have wine. We're happy to answer questions. We'll give you a short presentation, but really, we want to keep it relatively informal so people can feel comfortable to come in and ask questions and just get information so they know where they are, whether they need something from us or not. At least they'll have the information that they need.
And if you're at a loss for who to put down on your will, my last name is spelled Keary.
And I do want to say, Sydney, I'm so proud of you. A couple of years ago, you were hosting at the Red Inn in between years in your undergrad. And seeing the way you worked in that restaurant, I have no doubt that you are going to be amazing in all things you do moving forward.
That's what I said. I wrote Sydney a recommendation letter for law school, and I was telling Sydney, I was like, did you read that? And you said they don't let you read that?
Yeah, until I get in, I can't see them. I can request to see the letters if I want.
Okay, because I was like, I haven't written anything nicer about anyone in my life. It was I was like, wow, I love Sydney.
There's tear stains all over the paper.
Well, thank you so much for your time, ladies, and we'll see you Wednesday.
Next Wednesday, 1 o'clock to 3 o'clock at the Commons. Estate planning. Even if you don't think you're ready for estate planning, come and find out come and find out that you are ready or when you will be ready.
Right.
Yeah, exciting. So this is a really fun Babes and Boys as an end of the year celebration. They put together a really special Babes and Boys event calendar for you, so check it out.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Morning.
Good morning. How's my hair? Okay, great. This looks haggard.
Good morning, everyone.
Good
morning, everyone.
What's happening? Pull it tight from there. Oh, hot. Oh, that's wow. Look at me. Hey, let's start over. Just good morning, everyone.
Good morning, everyone. We are Babes and Boys. Do you want to say it at the same time? Sure. Yeah, that's cute. So, geez. Good morning.
So without any further ado, we're going to start off with Friday. We'll do it faster.
Good morning.
Can we make it 2 minutes? We can make it 2 minutes. I hear you. But this part is 30 seconds.
So we want to recommend checking out the Provincetown magazine. Another resource would be Babes and Boys.
Right in your face.
Also, you can find information at ptown.org with the Provincetown Business Guild. Also, Kaya is doing an intergalactic disco. Okay, we're gonna start over. Yep.
That's it. That's our show.
Bye. And that is the week in a nutshell.
Enjoy,
everyone.
Oh my god. Big thanks to everyone that supported us for the first ever queer and sapphically inclined pool party at the Sea Glass Inn. Thank you so much to the Sea Glass Inn for hosting us, as well as Farland for providing food, Beach Babes Butler for all of the wonderful lawn stuff.
That lawn stuff, though.
Okay, we can do this. Good
morning, everyone.
It has been a great year with Babes and Boys. Thank you so much to Sam and Karen for being a part of our show. Hi, Sam.
Welcome back to the show, Mr. Dennis Minsky. And this is your first time, right?
It is.
Lori Meads, how are you?
I'm good.
It's very nice to see you.
Nice to see you too. It's nice and warm in here.
Thanks for turning the heat
I
on.
turned the heat on today. We got here, it was 52 degrees inside.
Yeah. So you guys obviously always do an annual report for Siemens Bank.
Yes.
But this is the first one of its kind where, Dennis, can you tell everybody a little bit about this?
Well, I think this was Laurie's
This is your idea?
concept. Yeah.
I love that.
And I just came along and helped with it. So perhaps Laurie could talk more about it. I'll be happy to talk about how it went down, but
what was the idea behind putting this together?
So the bank every year, an annual report, you can do the basic, here's the numbers, this is what we did, yay. But we tend to embrace the community. So every annual report has a theme. So when the monument, had their 100th anniversary, we featured them, the history of the monument, where the bank was at the time, when the monument was built, because we're 173 years old. So every year we have a theme. And this year we talked about honoring iconic restaurants in Provincetown.
One of my favorite topics.
Yeah. So we, said, how are we going to do this? Talked to Dennis, and he agreed, come on and bring this all to light. We gathered the pictures and the information, and Dennis did interviews with owners that still own the restaurant 90 something years later. They're still in the same family. So there was a lot of interesting content, and this could have been like 3 inches thick, but we had to, make some decisions. And so, yeah, Dennis can talk about his interviews. And
Yeah, Dennis, how did you go about picking the establishments that you wanted to highlight and feature?
well, before I go any further, I should say David Dunlop is the shoulders anybody stands on if you're doing any historical work. So he was very generous with his time and with his expertise. Should also mention Emily, who did all the graphics, all the
the layout.
found
Yeah.
all the, all the photographs, all the menus, and all that sort of thing. I should also mention my wife, who wrote for the banner years ago about a number of these restaurants, and my good friend Sal Del Deo, who has an encyclopedic mind and knows everything about every place, including his own, but not only his own, everyone, the Mayflower and so on.
And so many of them are, a few of them are still here under the same name that they've always been, like Ciro and Sal's. But so many of them are like from a bygone era. Like we had Rick Murray on last week to talk about the 30th anniversary of Muscle Beach.
Yep.
And I was like, what was here before the gym? And he goes, the Bonnie Doon restaurant. And
Yeah.
so I started like looking up, and I found like a picture very similar to this. All the women are in like bobby sock skirts and high heels, like
Cute.
standing outside of the Bonnie Doon. And it's like everything's 65 cents.
15-cent sandwiches. Let's bring them back.
At the Moors. I know. And it's like these things could very so easily be lost to history if you don't document them.
Where did you find all the pictures? Are these like photo albums that people had kicking around in their living rooms kind of thing?
A woman named Lisa King is a incredible historian. There's a lot of her work. Some of the principals involved here had photographs.
Mm-hmm.
That's a question better directed to Emily. Yeah, I sat down with the Giannopoulos family. I talked to the original the Bonnie Doon restaurant.
Wow.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
The restaurant was not named after the girl. The girl was named after the restaurant.
No way.
And Bonnie Doon, everybody thought, well, it has something to do with dunes, but it was just a quirk of
Sounds cute.
I forget her name now, who started it. So anyhow, a lot of discussions, a lot of interviews, and a lot of social media. I reached out and people shared their memories, and we should mention for the folks at home, these things are available at Siemens Bank.
All the branches.
And they're free.
I love that.
And obviously you couldn't put every restaurant in here, but is
No.
there a plan to maybe expand on this?
Yeah, I really, I think it's a great idea. I thought this will be a really good winter project. Well,
How long did it take? How many winters?
I just started, okay, so now I'm going to do Boobalas, right? So an hour and a half with Jingles with John Yingling, and then another hour and a half with Guy Yingling, and then talking to all the different people that work there, and then customers, and then the music scene there. So I'm talking about the Red Inn to Howard Johnson's. Howard Johnson's, for those of you who don't remember, was Michael Shea's, and then the Hot L,
Right.
and now it's a bunch of condos. So Red Inn to Howard Johnson's is another 15, maybe 20 restaurants.
Wow.
I was walking back from my conversation with Jingles at Spiritus, and I run into Ken Ross and said, "Oh, Ross's Grill." The whole the fire, everything that happened there. So it's big. It's a big project.
It's big.
It's not going to be one winter. If it happens, if I live long enough, it'll be a couple of years.
Well, it seems like weeks worth of work for each restaurant.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's
Oh,
it.
This
Yeah.
was months.
Right.
I mean, we
Yeah.
started talking about
Yeah.
this probably right after Christmas of last year. And
Yeah.
it went to print, I think, in May.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So we had it ready for June for our annual corporators meeting. But yeah, lots of work.
Because each restaurant is 4 or 5 iterations sometimes.
Oh,
Exactly. Yeah.
mhm.
So now I'm talking about, I spent time with Ron Robin at the Muse. As you might know, the Muse was originally where the Harbor Lounge is. And
There's still a sign outside that says
I've
Muse.
seen that sign, and I was always like, why does that say that?
Yeah.
and that
Interesting.
the current Muse was a place called the Everbreeze, and Ciro and Sal were both dishwashers at the Everbreeze in 1955 or whatever. So it's just this tangled.
I think the Muse is renovating itself right now.
It is.
It
Yes.
is,
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm excited to get back in there when they reopen.
Yeah. But it's also important to emphasize that people haven't seen this. These are not Yelp reviews.
No.
I'm not saying that Lobster Pot's clam chowder is better than Nappy's or anything like that. This is really supposed to be a history of the town told through the restaurants. So,
I love that.
That's also, it's also so important because so much of Provincetown history really only exists inside people's memories. So
yeah,
making an effort to really put it down on paper makes it live forever. So this kind of work is so important.
Yeah.
You notice in the Mayflower piece, Dennis has you on Commercial Street in 1929, I believe.
Yeah, 29.
And this is in what you see. You see the railroad tracks and you're walking
Right.
down Commercial Street. So it kind of brings you into that moment in time when you're going to the Mayflower.
Yeah.
And they
It like
just
weirdly
opened.
looks so different, but also so the same.
Yeah.
And I guarantee you, no matter how long you've lived here or been visiting here, you will learn something when you
Yeah.
flip this open. And I gotta say to you also, I don't know the last time you were at the Siemens website, but I love going to the website because there's all these like testimonials of people being like, I owned a business here. Siemens has been my partner from the very beginning. You guys are so community oriented.
very.
So thank you for everything that you do for everybody here.
Thank you.
I mean,
Thank you.
you got my mortgage.
I love that.
That's what it's about. We didn't, yes, it's our annual report. Legally, we have to put things in it, but we also like it to tell a story and share, community experiences. So
Yeah, there's also not a lot of banks who are so committed to being so community minded. Right. So that's great.
It's nice to walk into a bank and know everybody.
Yeah,
Like
and
one-
see artwork instead of
Yeah.
TVs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's great. Thank you.
Thank you so
You're
much.
very
Go into
welcome.
Siemens Bank, any of their locations, and pick one of these up for yourself. It's a perfect little coffee table book until Dennis writes the real coffee table book.
The novel.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for coming in today.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
New Year, everyone.
We're going on a little break. We forgot. This is our last show until
February 16th.
11th.
It's either the 9th or the 16th.
Yeah. The mid-February.
So
Happy
it's-
Valentine's Day. We'll figure it out in the meantime. But also, I am going to be posting throwbacks to our years past episodes, performances, some of our favorite interviews. So be sure to subscribe to our YouTube page because I'm going to be posting every day on our break.
Yeah, we'll miss you guys.
Yeah. Have a really exciting next month, and we'll see you around Valentine's Day.
Happy New Year.
Yeah, we want to thank our sponsors, the Brass Key, Crown and Anchor, Provincetown Business Guild, the Provincetown Brewing Company, as well as the Boat Slip.
Thank you for waking up in Provincetown.
Wherever you are.
And we'll see you on February 16th.
Oh, wow. Bye, y'all.
Good morning, everybody. Wake up. Wake up, wake up. In Provincetown.